Hey, and welcome to the live stream. My name is Malcolm Travers. This is my gaming channel. I have been doing this for I don't know, maybe a week or so. It's been pretty productive for me because I actually schedule time to play, and it is my go-to way to unwind. So, like if I'm working on a project here, or um, you know, yeah, I would just say that there's a greater cost to my time and productivity from not playing than it is from playing. And having a live stream like this means like I want to keep making content for my viewers, but also like making a date for myself to enjoy this thing that I love. Um, so right now I'm going to transfer some weapons over using Destiny Item Manager. Um, it's mainly due to the fact that the Strike playlist is mostly what is it? Strand and Solar Surge. So most of those weapons fit that. I'm wearing some Swarmers, just like all around good exotic um, for a Strand Warlock. And I just recently got all the triumphs done for tier 7. So you go, oh, tier 6. There you go. That does look cool as fuck. uh, when I saw like people running around the tower looking like that, at first I didn't realize because I don't really care about triumphs that much. But at the beginning of the season they reset um your triumph rank or whatever is guardian rank. So, but just from like a day of playing the game, you know, you get up to level 6, 7. I'm not sure, but I'd never get past 7 because I think after to get to 8 or higher, you're having to do raids and dungeons, which I haven't been doing. Um, Let me take a look at what I'm going to be doing. Let's see. Could do Gambit. Um, Scorch Jolt. All those abilities I wouldn't get from Strand, but machine gun, sniper rifle. Um, okay. Hmm. Might as well infuse it into this. Uh, did I even want this? I mean, I guess so. Rangefinder doesn't do much anymore, does it? Forget it. I'll keep it. All right. So now I need to decide what I'm gonna do. Um, okay. I need sniper kills. Yeah, and I have the machine gun here. Okay. Okay, so there was a point at which I was rocking the necrotic grip, and that's okay. It's not great. The poison is mid, but I just realized like a sidearm and a sniper pair really well together. Sniper's got a little bit of a bump, and they feel pretty good right now. And you know, short range, long range. Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. Let's see what I got here. Definitely heavy ammo finder. Okay, so this one I could replace with a mod from the artifact. So yeah, I have that right there. Okay. It should be a combo. There it is. Yeah, Strand and Solar together. And for the loader, definitely go Strand. If I'd have one. Let's go. Harmonic. Yeah, that'll work. And let's go heavy handed because I think it's Brawler there. Arc, Solar. Let's see. Okay. I hate to lose this glow. I look so fucking cool. But that is so cool. All right, let's go. I guess I'll do a strike and then seasonal activity. And while I do that, I'm going to listen to some news real quick. Podcast. The one that I like a lot is the 7 from the Washington Post. They give you all the headlines super fast. I do want to hear some about the vice presidential debate. It's kind of a shady thing to call it, but
California regulators when they did the COVID shutdowns. That's another story I talk about.
Totally.
And that clearly really got to him and infuriated him that he couldn't keep one of his most productive.
Tired of cloud chaos? Get Cloud Smart. Designed for a multi-cloud world, VMware cross-cloud services help you manage all of your clouds as easily as one. VMware, the smarter way to cloud. Learn more at vmware.com.
A deadly plane crash in Russia, Trump's possible mugshot, and why thousands of octopuses are hanging out off the coast of California. I'm Jeff Pierre, and this is the 7 from the Washington Post. It's Thursday, August 24th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1, Yevgeny Prigozhin was listed as a passenger in a plane crash that killed 10 people. Prigozhin is the leader of the Wagner mercenary group. He led a short-lived mutiny against the Kremlin in June. It was an unprecedented challenge to President Vladimir Putin. Russian authorities said yesterday that a private jet crashed northwest of Moscow, killing everyone on board, and that Prigozhin was on the flight list. But we don't know yet for sure whether Prigozhin was on the plane or died. Russian and U.S. officials have not confirmed it, but if he has died, it would be a stunning end for Putin's rival. Number 2. Donald Trump plans to surrender today in the Georgia election case. The former president is set to turn himself in at a notorious Atlanta jail. He may pose for a mugshot that could be made public. Yesterday, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani surrendered to authorities. Giuliani, Trump, and 17 others face charges that they plotted to overturn Trump's 2020 election loss in Georgia. You can watch Trump surrender live on our homepage and YouTube channel tonight, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Number 3, Republicans largely avoided criticizing Trump at the first presidential debate last night. Instead, they took shots at each other.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here.
That was former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie talking about Vivek Ramaswamy. He's a first-time millennial candidate who's been rising in the polls. He was a target throughout the night. The 8 candidates also disagreed over Russia's invasion of Ukraine and abortion policy. Here's former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley and former Vice President Mike Pence arguing about whether a federal abortion ban would be possible.
Don't make women feel like they have to decide on this issue when you know we don't have 60 Senate votes in the House.
70% of the American people support legislation
but
to ban
70%
abortion
of the
after a
Senate
baby is
does
capable
not.
of experiencing pain.
Former President Trump wasn't at the debate. He skipped it and posted an interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson instead. But he was still a topic of conversation. All but one candidate, Asa Hutchinson, said that they would support Trump if he won the nomination, even if he was convicted of a crime. Number 4, Japan started releasing water from Fukushima's nuclear plant today. For years, tanks have stored contaminated water from the plant, which suffered one of the worst nuclear disasters in 2011. But now they're running out of space to store the water, so it'll be filtered, diluted, and released into the Pacific Ocean over the next 3 decades. There's disagreement about whether the plant is safe. Japan's government and some scientists say it is, but neighboring countries, environmental groups, and Japan's fishing industry have raised concerns. Number 5. Guns killed a record number of children in the U.S. in 2021. A new analysis of CDC data shows that at least 4,752 children died from a firearm injury in 2021. That's an increase of almost 42% from 2018. It was the second year in a row in which guns were the top cause of death among U.S. children and adolescents. 2020 was the first year that gun deaths surpassed cars, drug overdoses, and cancer. And provisional data from 2022 suggests that firearms were the top cause of child death in that year, too. Number 6. Brain implants helped a voiceless woman speak. Researchers monitored the woman's neural activity with tiny devices implanted in her brain. They trained an algorithm to recognize her attempts to speak. Then they decoded what she wanted to say at a rate of 62 words a minute. That's more than 3 times as fast as the previous record. And it's beginning to approach the speed of natural conversation. This was an important milestone in the quest to restore speech to people who have lost the ability to communicate. And the technology that was used in this new study is improving rapidly. And at number 7, scientists uncovered the secret of a deep-sea octopus garden. For years, scientists have been puzzled by a strange sight. 2 miles below the surface of the ocean, off the coast of California, thousands of octopuses were gathering on rocks. But scientists didn't know why. A new study found the answer. They're mating and nesting. Heat from thermal springs in the area speeds up the rate of an embryo's development. That increases the chances that octopus hatchlings will survive the cold depths of the sea. The findings could help researchers better understand how cold-blooded animals adapt in a variety of environments, like an octopus's garden in the shade. Sorry, we can't play the Beatles song here, so just sing it in your head. That's the show for today. Don't forget that you can get this podcast as a newsletter every morning. You'll find links to videos and all sorts of stuff. Click the link in our show notes to subscribe. I'm Jeff Pierre, and I will meet you back here tomorrow.
Tired of cloud chaos? Get Cloud Smart. Designed for a multi-cloud world, VMware Cross-Cloud Services help you manage all of your clouds as easily as one. VMware, the smarter way to cloud. Learn more at vmware.com.
Productive factories open. So there are these ways in which Elon Musk, despite all this power, still exists in the world, right? And I think the piece captures a moment where people are, in government especially, grappling with, okay, how do we use those levers to make sure this isn't totally a runaway train?
Have you seen any good attempts from the US government to use those levers? Or are there any ideas as to how to kind of rein him in a little bit?
I think right now most of the stories point to the opposite, that the efforts to rein him in have had somewhat limited success. I mean, the Ukraine.
In a Republican debate, Nikki Haley called for consensus on abortion.
Mike Pence did not.
You're my friend, but consensus is the opposite of leadership.
How did the candidates bid for leadership?
I'm Layla Falden. That's Steven Skeep, and this is Up First from NPR News. Having skipped the debate, Donald Trump is expected to be booked today at a Georgia jail with a reputation.
It's a pretty horrific place, such that I sometimes have nightmares.
What's the process for the politician who lost the 2020 election and tried to stay in office?
And the leader of Russia's Wagner Group did not fall out of a window as other Russians who were out of favor did. Instead, his plane fell out of the sky. What happened to Yevgeny Prigozhin? Stay with us. We've got the news you need to start your day. What do you do when you're running for president and the frontrunner you're trying to beat is indicted?
If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
Most of the candidates raised their hands for Fox News moderator Bret Baier, which is what their party demands. The debate was also full of Trump-free moments where the candidates tried to stand out.
NPR's Sarah McCammon was there and is on the line from Milwaukee, where it is very, very, very early. Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
And thanks for joining us. How did that moment go when the candidates were asked if they would support a convicted felon for president?
Yeah, it was kind of a strange moment. All those hands went up quickly, except for former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, and then former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, who's been a real critic of Trump, kind of awkwardly shook his fist and then ultimately said he would not support the president in that case. But here's how entrepreneur and rising star Vivek Ramaswamy explained his raised hand.
Let's just speak the truth, okay? President Trump, I believe, was the best president of the 21st century.
Meanwhile, former Vice President Mike Pence was in a unique situation, saying he would support Trump, but also touting his actions on January 6, 2021, when he said that he chose the Constitution over Trump. Pence got some support for that from some of the other candidates, including Chris Christie, who used the moment to go after him.
Whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right or wrong, the conduct is beneath the office of President of the United States.
Interesting, they got some applause there. There were other occasions in which I know Christie was booed by the crowd. But were there occasions on which the candidates who were on stage were able to talk about Republican policy?
Yeah, for much of the debate, really. It took a while to even get to Trump, and candidates tried to stay focused mostly on issues other than the former president. When it comes to policy, Steve, one of the biggest splits we heard was actually over abortion. Of course, an issue that could be a real liability for Republicans next year in a post-Roe environment. Some candidates, including Pence, have called for Republicans to support national restrictions on abortion. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, though, the only woman in the race, has been more cautious. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, though, the only woman in the race, has been more cautious.
When it comes to a federal ban, let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So in order to do that, let's find consensus.
And here's how Pence responded to that.
To be honest with you, Nikki, you're my friend, but consensus is the opposite of leadership.
And there were some intense exchanges also around Ukraine, with both Pence and Haley strongly arguing for continued funding. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said he would not commit to more funding unless European countries do the same. Meanwhile, Ramaswamy says the U.S. needs to stop spending money on Ukraine and focus on other things.
How did this compare to the counter-programming? Donald Trump not in the debate, but on a video feed on X with Tucker Carlson?
Right. Well, it was mostly a string of Trump's greatest hits, kind of airing his grievances for a sympathetic ear. But how much Trump resonated or not may not matter at the end of the day. And I mean that literally, because he is expected to be booked in Georgia on charges related to interference in the 2020 election. And that will probably once again draw all the attention back to him.
NPR's Sarah McCammon, thanks as always.
Thank you.
Now, Sarah mentioned it. Donald Trump drops by the Fulton County Jail in Georgia today.
Yeah, and you can expect a few cameras, or more than a few, to capture whatever they can as Trump is booked on 13 felony counts. The former president, who tried to overturn his 2020 election defeat, has denied wrongdoing in his signature repetitive style.
They don't even have a case against me. It's not even a case. Everyone says, even the Democrats say, you can't bring these cases. You have no case.
There's Trump on X, formerly Twitter. The former president is accused of conspiring with 18 co-defendants to subvert the vote in Georgia, where he lost in 2020.
And just to note, many Democrats say you can bring this case in spite of what the former president said there. Sam Greenglass, a member station WABE, has been covering this case for us. Sam, good morning.
Hey there, Steve.
So how does it go when Trump arrives at jail?
Okay, obviously there is no precedent for a former president being booked in a county jail, but we think we'll see a motorcade shepherd Trump to the jail gate. But beyond that, reporters are not allowed inside. Though later, we do expect to see Trump's mugshot like we have so far with some of Trump's 18 co-defendants, lawyers Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell. Trump has been indicted 4 times now, but this mugshot will be his first.
I get the impression that the Fulton County Jail is almost a character in this story.
Yeah, conditions at the jail are under investigation right now by the U.S. Department of Justice. Defense attorney Bob Rubin told me he has 2 clients in the facility, and both have been awaiting trial for more than 2 years.
They have no opportunities to go outside.
Well,
There's no
I got
sunlight.
that key
The jail
pretty
is smelly, as you can imagine.
quickly.
There's dangerous people in the jail. It's a pretty horrific place, such that I sometimes have nightmares.
Of course, Trump will just be processed today, so he won't actually be in there that long.
Although some other things may last long, I'm thinking of the fact that this focuses on events from 2020 and 2021, years ago, and the trial itself is not in sight. District Attorney Fonnie Willis wants to start the trial in about 6 months, which would be well before the 2024 election. Can she?
Well, every defense attorney that I have talked to has given me a flat out no. Here's lawyer Jeffrey Brickman.
This is not a discussion about people trying to play the system. It simply takes a long time, and I just think that that is wishful thinking.
This judge will have to juggle up to 19 defendants, plus proceedings in the other court cases Trump's facing. Jury selection could take a long time too, and then some defendants are trying to move the case from state to federal court.
Why?
Well, federal law allows some federal officials charged for conduct under the color of office to remove their cases to federal court. Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows attempted it first. Trump is expected to do the same, and Emory law professor Jonathan Nash says they might actually prevail.
Certainly has some merit, I'll put it that way. I don't see it as any kind of frivolous filing.
Now, Fulton prosecutors would still argue the case, but in front of a federal judge. Jury would come from a federal court division stretching well beyond Atlanta, but state charges would still be at play, which are not subject to presidential pardon.
Interesting. WABE's Sam Greenglass in Atlanta. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
As with so much in Russia, we have no definitive word on the fate of the Russian mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin.
He was listed as a passenger on a small jet that crashed yesterday northwest of Moscow. That's the voice of an eyewitness watching the plane literally fall from the sky in a video posted on Russian state media. But was Prigozhin actually on the plane?
NPR's Charles Maines is following events from Moscow. Charles, welcome.
Hi.
What are the facts so far as they are known?
Well, first of all, we know about the flight path. Radar shows the business jet heading from Moscow to St. Petersburg, and then a little over 30 minutes into the flight, the plane suddenly starts to fall from the sky, as we heard in that clip here in your intro. Russian aviation authorities say there were 10 passengers listed on board, among them Yevgeny Prigozhin, and rescue teams say they found 10 bodies. Meanwhile, the crash site's been sealed off. The bodies of the victims are apparently moved to a local morgue this morning. What we don't have is any official statement IDing Prigozhin's body or confirming his actual death, just as we don't have any confirmation of what caused the crash. And both those factors have fueled all sorts of rumors and conspiracy theories. That said, many of Prigozhin's supporters seem to think he's indeed gone. A makeshift memorial appeared outside the Wagner Center in St. Petersburg last night.
Many people would wonder how Prigozhin thought he could be safe anywhere in the borders of Russia, and certainly how he could be safe traveling around.
Yeah, because he has certainly had a lot of enemies, both in Ukraine, let's not forget that, and within Russia, the Russian military in particular. Prigozhin criticized and insulted the top brass publicly. I don't think there's any question they hated him for it. But the source of Prigozhin's power and protection had always been his relationship, real or perceived, with President Vladimir Putin.
Until Prigozhin mutinied.
Well, right, and Putin publicly ultimately endorsed this deal that offered Prigozhin amnesty and life in exile in Belarus in exchange for ending the mutiny. And there was a sense here that Prigozhin, while a lesson figure politically, was being allowed to tidy up affairs and kind of plan his next chapter. He was in St. Petersburg to close down his media holdings. He apparently met with African officials about Wagner's future role there. So there was a sense that he'd made amends, and his ability to travel in Russia seemed to prove it. But one of the other takeaways from the rebellion was that Putin looked rather weak. Prigozhin had challenged his authority and gotten away with it. And certainly that narrative now changes significantly, whatever happened to that plane.
What happens now to the Wagner Group, which has been so important to Russian military fortunes in Ukraine and elsewhere in the world?
Well, there's been a growing sense that Putin was interested in maintaining Wagner as a fighting force and less in keeping Prigozhin as its leader. Putin's spokesman said as much when he recounted a meeting between the Russian president and Wagner rebels, including Prigozhin, in the Kremlin in the days after the mutiny. Yet this plane crash appears to have taken the lives of not only Prigozhin, but other top Wagner commanders, which means Wagner is effectively now decapitated as an organization.
Although doesn't it still have thousands or even tens of thousands of armed men and women?
It does. And if the past is any lesson, those mercenaries have been fiercely loyal to Prigozhin. Think back to that rebellion. Prigozhin told them to march on this southern Russian city of Rostov-on-Don and seize a military base. They did it. Told them to march on
Yeah, that was crazy when that happened. I was like, I did not put a Russian Civil War on my 2023 bingo card. I mean, but now it seems like the Wagner Group's leader is dead. They haven't confirmed his body, but his plane went down, which sounds like he was killed. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I thought about that, the conversation I had with Carlos on the Bearcast about control. We were kind of talking about that, where we are interested in so many things that are so outside of our immediate control or even circle of influence, right? Like what's happening in Russia is so incredibly foreign to us. And yet, I remember there was a time when I was made to feel less cosmopolitan because I didn't necessarily read world news or was interested in everything that happened all around the world, Yeah, I'm not. Because it doesn't really include me. In fact, there's a point to which someone, put it that should I even really be interested in anything that's happening outside of my family in this room? Yeah, I think a Vesper radius build would be good in this as well. I need to unlock more perks on my. Wonder why I'm not making more tangles though. Thought so. How am I getting amplified? That's crazy. I don't understand that. On Strand. Hmm. I don't know how to make that open up. But there's a chest there. I guess I don't know either. Oh. Well, I gotta figure out the secrets of this place. Hold up. You got it. Oh, okay. I think I already got it this week. They did say there was a limited amount. I've noticed like on a lot of those pages, they have to explain it to the more experienced players. They'll feel like you're talking down to them if you say it in a way that I can understand. So I get it. Is it like we're permanently amplified now? Okay. How do we unlock his immunity shield? Oh, there it is. Okay, I have no idea how that happened. I need to figure out how to do that. Two extra chests. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, we're going to the Arc Room. Wow. I should have chosen a more secure location. Clearly. In the middle of the room is not. Ooh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, I think that dude was running Vesper. Yeah, right there. It's pretty good. Still good. I got my machine gun done. So I did think about running that sword with the arc sword with the Vesper radius. That could be pretty good. However, I think I am going to take a break and maybe watch a video on what exactly, the Tower of Sabathun does. What? Never mind. Let me do one more activity. I'd rather do a full hour. Sabathun Spire. Let's do the other activity. What's going on here? Shield touch, attrition. You know what? Let me try the arc build now, because there's no reason for me not to. Okay. Okay. There we go. I've been messing up some of my loadouts on Dim because I want to make them for any class, but I forget to take off of the class specific, changes, so it doesn't register. All right, so what would I want to run? It has unstoppables. There's that. Then barrier, and then jolt would be my overload. I got overload machine guns. Like this right here would be a full on. I could take care of these things. Okay, so auto run. Unstoppables. Yeah. Okay, hold up. I have to go to Elemental Orbs Arc. Overload machine. Okay. Guess it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, This is first time I'm looking at the last row. I'll look at that later. Oh wow, like no mods. Okay. Interesting. Let's go resilience. Harmonic, heavy ammo, and probably kinetic. Yeah. Next one. Let's do resilience. Harmonic loader. Got 3 left. Probably go with the firepower and fastball. All right, here go full on recovery. Arc right there. Solar. All right. Another full on recovery. This one I'll do arc scav and there. Let's do another recovery. All right. Check here. All right, there we go. And let me save this real quick. Let me load out. All right. Altars of Summoning. Let's go. I mean, having a rift up all the time should help with the attrition is built into this. And my thing about Altars of Summoning right now is that I've been stuck in here for an extended period of time that I'm like, how do I get out? How do I finish? And it kind of just drops you in the middle of it. I don't know what's going on. Ooh, fuck. Starting to wonder if I should have the Stag instead of Vesper, but Okay, so then another one comes in. Let's see if I can get a second one. I don't know. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm thinking like, do I even know what's going on like here? The symbols, what do these mean? And was it asking for? Begin the ritual. I don't think I'm up for it. I kind of wanted to quit before. I was just like, let's see if I got any progress. Because I remember how difficult it was. Yeah, I did get some progress. That's fine. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a fire team and go in there and actually get some loot. But I did get that pattern. It's exactly what I wanted. One machine gun pattern. It's gonna take like 4 more to craft it, but I mean that's a start. But yeah, today I'm gonna get my day started. I had a couple of topics that I brought up almost immediately from looking at TikTok. The first one had to do with negging and witty banter. Like this is something that was being discussed, and there was juxtaposition, in my feed with a psychological researcher who showed that people who are amenable, or I guess the nice guy, the helpful person, can and often is ostracized socially in some situations. I had to dig more into both. I remember reading The Game back in the day. I think it was David Strauss, and I read it as a form of entertainment, because it was a memoir of a guy who was a former pickup artist, and he was talking about all their times in LA, starting this sort of multi-level marketing empire for, incels, basically guys who were or felt that they were involuntary celibates because they didn't know how to pick up women, and then they were of course used by the pickup artists to continue their marketing scheme, right? Like they were good at picking up women, but it was probably from their innate sort of charisma and lack of empathy, like it's hard to do some of the techniques that these men engaged in if you were also feeling emotional empathy for the person of your target, So there was that. They were predatory people, and they preyed on women, and they preyed on lonely men who wanted those women. However, the book was entertaining. It was very good because of like the shit show nature of it. Just looking at it, it was just like, wow, this is crazy. But there is a core truth to it. For one, it works. Like these are not isolated incidents of negging. I've never participated in myself, and honestly, I don't think I've ever seen it happen in front of me. And maybe this is a much more something for straight phenomenon. I don't know, but that's exactly why I would bring it up on the live stream on Wednesday, because I have a panel of gay men with plenty of experience in the dating scene, and maybe they've seen it or heard of it. And that's like the perfect type of topic for the live stream, because I'm genuinely curious as to how does this translate to gay black men when typically this was a scene of straight white men picking up straight white women, right? does it really apply to gay Black men? And if not, what sort of lessons could we learn from the fact that it doesn't translate? Like, what is that difference? Why does it not translate? All of those are very good questions, and hopefully I'll get some illumination on some of them. Maybe just have an entertaining conversation about dating and, you know, picking up, having charisma, all of that would be interesting. Let me see if I have anything else. I don't think so. Maybe we'll talk about the debate. Vivek Ramaswamy kind of made headlines as being, you know, the perfect replacement to Trump. Like, he just says some crazy shit, and he comes off as, you know, aggressive fighter, that kind of bolsters type person that the Republicans like. I think he is channeling that energy, right, that the Republican Party had given to Trump. And if he were a white guy, just be honest, like an older white guy at that, because I don't think they want younger either. We say we want younger, but they don't. I think they criticize him for his age as well. He probably would be competitive with Trump. I wouldn't say he would be the nominee, but the Republican primary is functioning as if Donald Trump is the incumbent, you know, and these are his challengers. And in a sense, they are, because we never had a person who lost their election come back and try again, you know, and he was the president for a period of time. And so he is kind of running as an incumbent. He has a record as president to run on. And I do think that does make a difference in the Republican primary. As soon as someone like sort of pointed that out, it's like, oh yeah, right. I don't feel so bad, but it's still pretty bad. So on that note, I am going to continue with the rest of my day. I'm likely to live stream again. If you are, interested in seeing any of our other live streams, make sure to check out my Wednesday live stream on Male Media Mind. That is youtube.com/Male Media Mind, the main YouTube channel, which I am not streaming on right now. Like, this is the gaming channel. Yeah, go give us a subscribe. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about. Greg is going to be talking about his inbox. Typically, he gets a lot of questions and comments on dating and relationships and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he's going to have something to say about it. And then Devon has a live stream Sunday. I'm assuming he's going to talk about Ahsoka. I probably actually need to watch it because I do like the Star Wars, and I like Ahsoka. So I'm pretty sure he's going to talk about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to head out, and I will be back when I get a break. Thanks for watching. Peace.